cheers to financial literacy in the young Black community, because we need it. I'm gonna get into the mess that you guys see behind me in just a few short videos. I've been doing a lot, so the videos that I planned for you guys are now gonna start coming out like horses at a horse race. So the first video I wanted to make for you guys is more of like a financial literacy video. Hear me out. I'm only 23 and I was able to live alone and pay almost $1,100 monthly. I know a lot of people in my age group can't afford it on their own. So I decided to make a video showing you guys how I did it, what worked for me. So yeah, let's get into it. So you guys have already seen several different apartment tours. So you know what my place looks like. You know, like there's a bathroom, a laundry room, a bedroom, a kitchen, a living room. You guys have seen all of that. You guys have even seen my balcony, like my patio. I think my door is actually open to my patio. If you haven't seen it, I'll give you guys a quick little tour before the video's out, just so you guys know what I was working with what I was paying. So initially moving in, my rent was $9.79. And that's a bit high, I will admit. But I'm going to give you the numbers, and then I'm going to tell you how I was able to maintain living by myself. So the numbers, like I said, rent was $9.79. So that's just rent. When I first moved in, there wasn't an electricity bill. I can go into depth. That would be a different story time. But there was not an electricity bill for me. So matter of fact, hold on. Actually, my expenses were rent. I did not pay for groceries either. So right there, you can take out and groceries. So I paid for rent. Yeah, that's all I paid from about August to January. So my rent was about $9.79, and then there would be other charges like valet, trash, cable. So about $1,000, maybe $1,009. My most recent statement is $1,011. So here's how I maintained that. So I was working a full-time job, and so I was making about $2,000 a month. My rent is only $1,000. I'm also a student. Now, what you guys saw was the hustle and bustle of me being a student and me being a full-time worker. You guys didn't see the back pay, how I was able to afford it, because graduate students, me in particular, as a graduate student, I get $10,000 in financial aid. That's more than enough to have covered me while I was here. Now, I also worked full-time with Playworks AmeriCorps. That was averaging about $2,000 a month. I got paid bi-weekly. So, as you can imagine, the money started to roll in. I wouldn't say fast, but I was able to maintain. Now, I didn't always, even right now, I do have an electricity bill. So, my electricity bill only averages about $70, and that's with myself and Michael, as you saw here. I'm only talking about my expenses as a single person living here, because most people can afford something with extra help. I'm telling you how to do it without any extra help. So yeah, I'll be real transparent with you guys. There was financial aid. I also had a full-time job that was bringing in $2,000. Electricity, like I said, different story time. In groceries could be also a separate story time as well. But just know those two things weren't being paid for. In the midst of that, I was also paying my car note, which was about $300 a month. I was also paying my mobile phone, or my cell phone. That was $100 a month. I'm trying to think. I had things like Spotify, Amazon, different things like that that were pulling money, but wasn't actually too deep into my pockets to where I couldn't maintain. Now, here are my financial tips for you guys and how I was able to even move in, because I know you guys have seen me take trips. So like even on my channel, I've gone to Mexico, I've gone to Italy, and all while being 23, all while working part-time jobs like people in my age group. I think there comes a time where there's a little bit more literacy in some than others as far as finances. So one quick tip I would say is go ahead and pay your bills out, pay them out, make a budget. That's what I did. Matter of fact, if I can find an old budget, I made a few different ones, just kind of letting myself know where my money was going, what money I had to play with, what I needed to put in savings. I'll say this because you guys have no way of knowing what's in them. I have 3 separate bank accounts. So there's like 3 different banks with my name, my zip code, and all of them have money in them. I think a good way to save your money is to separate it, because if I'm looking at SunTrust, then oh crap, I only have $4,000 to work with. That's not a lot of money to work or maneuver with. Versus me having everything in one account, I may come up to $20,000, and looking at $20,000 is a lot more than $4,000. You feel like you can go play with it more, but that's the thing, you can't just play with your money. So I'd say, yeah, just that in full. Yeah, these are tips without needing extra help as well. Like, you don't need another person to survive type tips. So yeah, so that's 2011. I'm looking at a current, and I wanted to have real bills in front of me so I can like actually tackle this the way I would without the camera being here. Now because of COVID, of course, things kind of got backed up. So like I'm looking at a 2-month electric bill, but of course you have to pay that stuff right out, even with COVID and them not putting, and them not necessarily putting like fees and things on your account. You don't want to let things like that pile up. So we've talked to rent. As far as my rent goes, a 1-bedroom in Durham is they're gonna at least hit $800. And then after those fees come in with cable, with valet, trash, what else is up here? Internet, pest control, trash, valet trash. They're 2 separate fees. Yeah, you're gonna come out to at least an extra $100 because those fees add up. So even when you know your rent amount, I would definitely still say go ahead and already equate yourself to be spending $1,000. And then like for your electricity, you can decide that. Your water goes into it. So a lot of that stuff depends on you as a person. Also, things like so the ways I have cut down on my spending, because I think that should be part of this too. I don't have a Spotify account anymore. I don't have Amazon Prime. If I go online shopping, it's only cards that I already have like a credit card with the store, so that way if I spend money I can send the items back and still get the thrill, which I'll explain more in a future video coming up, because I did that during quarantine and I was thinking. So yes, hopefully, something else. While I'm talking about financial literacy, while I was working and going to school, like I said, the money did pile up. What I did for myself, I was watching myself kind of like make these big purchases. And this one night, I was really sad, really bored. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy these slides, and they were maybe $500, no lie, because I'm really great with money, but I'm also really bad with money, as most people are. But luckily, I can depend on SunTrust. They stopped the, They stopped the payment and shut down my card because I had never made a payment that high just for one item. So after that, I cut the card up. That card has now acquired several thousands of dollars because I stopped just recklessly spending. That is something that you guys can do. Just because you have it doesn't mean you should use it. Now, what I was doing before was buying stuff off Poshmark and like thrift websites, things like that, like secondhand things, and that's fine. But $500 sandals, I couldn't even tell you the brand, but I was just on there shopping because, oops, I have it. I have the money to spend. So that's not a really good thing to do either. Don't just have money and spend it. So right here, right now, let's cheers to better financial, what do you call it? Let's cheers to better financial literacy, better budgeting, and more money, because I've done it. I know you guys can do it. I'm gonna get down to the nitty gritty of showing you what my apartment looks like and what $1,100 roughly, not 1,100, maybe 1,100, because that's 1,000, and then my electric is about 100. So yeah, what $1,100 in Durham can get you. So let's cheers to being better financial, let's cheers to financial literacy at such a young age. Cheers to learning financial literacy. Cheers to better budgeting, better saving. And if you don't have wine, if you're not like drinking wine, you guys can cheers to me with the glass, with your bag of chips, whatever you're using, whatever you're drinking, or whatever. While I'm talking, go ahead and. So now you actually have to keep your word, because you cheers to me and yourself. So go ahead and that money you were planning on using to buy whatever, go ahead and put that in a savings, because I promise you, I thank my prior self all the time.